So usually what would happen is in some way or another, I would start thinking I was dying and I was afraid to die. And so because I was afraid to die, I would start resisting the death process that was happening from the psychedelic. The death process was my identity beginning to dissolve or whatever, you know, it was the dissolution of my identity. But I would begin to feel guilty or plagued with regret or worried about my mom. Or I feel like a piece of shit because I was on drugs, or all these various things would come up that were really quite painful. And, you know, if I'd had a therapist at the time, it would have been amazing to work with that stuff. So those were the bad trips, you know, it was just like having like a, you know, uh, the psychedelic, I believe, is generally pointing at something inside of you that needs addressing. It needs to be confronted or dealt with or looked at, or in a compassionate way, not beating yourself up for it. And so if all of a sudden the psychedelic is like opened up your heart and you're witnessing some thing that happened to you, which happens to a lot of people, they remember shit from their childhood that they forgot, or they might be with someone and see something in them that they didn't want to see, you know, and or you know, all kind of, they might look around their at their life and just think, man, this is not who I wanted to be. Or, you know, like become suddenly aware of how messy their house is, how unhealthy they are. Why am I smoking? How many times have you been tripping and you take inhale a cigarette and you're like, what am I doing to myself? Why am I hurting my body? What am I doing? And then you feel guilty, and then that creates a chain reaction. So in those days, yeah, spiral, man. And so in those days, I didn't have any ability to deal with that shit. You know, I think I spent most of my high school years like probably clinically depressed, I would say. I just didn't know it. And then, or I just thought it was normal to feel the way I felt. So those were the bad trips. But I think some part of me knew that there was also a catharsis happening, whatever you want to call it, a kind of freedom, a kind of, for a second, a way to like get my head above the, you know, dynamics of my family and my past, you know, and that was worth it, worth all of it, you know?
Yeah, I compare it sometimes kind of like to working out, like lifting weights, which, you know, I'm the last one to talk about that, but like it sucks lifting weights. Like it hurts, you
Yeah.
know, when you get to like trying to push up the last one, and it's like, and you got to do another rep, and it's like, this hurt, but like, but you're going to come out of it with a better, healthier body. It's
Yeah,
just like no, I'd rather just lie on the couch. It's way less painful. But in
yeah,
the long run, it's way more painful to lie on the couch.
that's it. Exactly. It's just, you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's like, you got it. Like whatever the thing is that you're running from, usually is way less scary than you think it is. You just haven't looked back at it in a long time. This is one of the qualities of trauma, is people who've had trauma, they're always in a hurry. So if you know people who are always like impatient in a rush, jingling, my dad would jingle his keys. He had PTSD. He would jingle his keys. He's always in a rush, in a hurry. And what's happening is they're running. They've been running from this thing that happened to them, and they feel like they're just running from a monster that's not there anymore. But they just think, fuck, man, I got to get to the next place. What fucking time is it? How much? We got to get going. Let's move. Those people, it's trauma usually, a lot of the times.
Dude, I do that almost every time on mushrooms. I'm like, I gotta go. As soon as this kick in, is like, I gotta move. And I think I'm trying to get away from the trip that's about to happen to me. But like, I translate that to physically have to move, instead of like, oh no, dude, it's in your brain. You're taking it with you. You're not getting away from it. And I just keep moving until eventually I just fall in the grass.